Hey everybody, Neil Malik from Knack Training here, bringing another everyday office video. And in today's video, I want to show you an answer to a question that came up on Reddit just recently. And the question is, if I have a chart like the one that you see on my screen right here, how can I get it so that all the labels are lined up in the same spots? I don't want the labels to be on the inner part or the outer part of the bar, whatever height the bar is. I really want people to be able to read straight across and see all the different labels in the same spots. So the easiest way to accomplish this in Excel is actually to use a transparent set of data to use for labeling. So let me illustrate how you would do that. So right here, I'll go ahead and put in something like, I'll call this label spots or something. And I'll say that maybe the labels in every situation need to be at about the spot of 1400, okay? So I'll go ahead and make a whole set of data that's just 1400, which is just basically where I want my labels to go. Now here's something that very few people know about. If you highlight this data right here, use Control-C to copy it, you can put this data into this chart just as easily as clicking on the body of the chart and using Control-V to paste it. Now you see what's happened here. We've got these bars at 1400 at every spot along the way, but of course they're next to the original bars. So this is where a little bit of trickery happens. You click on the original set of bars here, and you hit Control-1 on your keyboard. This will bring up your formatting tools inside of Microsoft Excel. Now notice over here on the right that we have something called the series overlap. And what we can do is we can take the gray bars that we've just inserted and say that they should overlap 100% with the blue bars. See that right there? And now, to take it a step further, we can go to this paint bucket right here and tell them that there should be no fill and maybe even no line around those bars. So now the bars are in place and they are a perfect spot for our data labels to be anchored. So what we're going to do now is with these bars selected, we go up here to the top of the screen and we decide to add data labels to those bars. And I'll go ahead and go with inside end right there. But you can see what the problem is. The data labels here, these are all 1400 because they're the values from those columns. So now, when I click on those and I use these formatting tools here on the right, watch what we can do under our charting options right here. We can choose values from cells instead of the values of those bars specifically. So I go to value from cells. I highlight those cells right there and click OK. Now I can remove the original values, and just like that, and let's go ahead and get rid of these other labels, we have all these labels at exactly the same position all the way across the board, anchored in those specific spots. Now I can go a step further, click on these, and maybe even fill them with white, for example. Maybe I would put a little bit of drop shadow behind these. Maybe I could take the fonts and make them bold and make them solid black text like so, and make it really very clear right there. Now the beauty of this is that at any point in time, you can decide that you want the labels to move up or down, and of course the labels are dynamic. So if this segment becomes, let's say 975 for example, you see that that label is automatically linked to the original data as opposed to manually labeling them. Then, if we want the labels to move up a little bit, we can say, you know what, our label spots should actually be at 1500, for example, and then simply pull that down so it's 1500 across the board. There you can see the 1500 spot for the label, and that's looking pretty good. So being able to overlap data allows us to create a lot of different effects, including conditionally formatting charts, but here we can lock in where those data labels go by connecting them to data that doesn't even exist in the chart in the first place.